Hello everybody, so today we're talking about EA and Origin banning a couple, or rather more than a couple, several countries in their entirety from accessing their Origin library, even if they had already purchased this. And this is going on right now in Cuba, Iran, Myanmar, North Korea, Sudan, Syria, and Ukraine. And in their reasoning for this is that it is in compliance with U.S. embargoes and sanctions laws. But according to the person who posted this whole thing on Reddit to begin with, they don't have any problem logging into Netflix, Steam, Battle.net, Spotify, or any other streaming service. So there really shouldn't, these are all US-based companies for the most part, so there shouldn't be a problem. But maybe there's more to it. Maybe we don't have access to the full story. So here we have, and I think this post was made, 18 hours ago, so this was today. EA and Origin has recently banned more countries. So it was talking about Iran, and this was the original post by Trivial Sublime, who's the fellow from Myanmar. And pretty much what happened is he had games on Origin, and on October, I forget which day. Let me take a look at his, yeah, let's see. I'm getting access denied error message when connecting from Yangon, Myanmar. I worked with previous version of Origin. Please help. Thank you. You don't have permission. Hello, everyone. We were working to restore access to Origin for our players in Myanmar. We apologize for any inconveniences may have caused, and we'll share updates on timing as soon as possible. And then there's this one as well. Oh, that was the one we just looked at, so we'll do both in case I did the same thing again. I did. Oh, it's the same person. Okay. Alright. With the Origin 10 update, U.S. laws, which is where EA is based, force them to block certain countries. Unfortunately, you live in one of those countries. I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do to allow you access again. So yeah, essentially they didn't reimburse the person. They didn't restore access, or at least they haven't yet. Yeah, so EA is looking into whether and when our service can be restored, which is kind of a load of horseshit. And then we have here the follow-up. Hello, everyone. And Minglabar, I wanted to thank you and all the tremendous outpouring of support, DNS and VPN workarounds, media outlets that were contacted. To those wealthy Redditors, thank you for all the Reddit gold. Also, thank you to EA for issuing assurances that they are looking at restoring our access, even though they said they were looking at both whether and when they could restore it, but hey, progress. Regardless of that outcome, this whole episode should raise a tremendous amount of concern amongst the gaming community for the following reasons. Sanctions against Myanmar, which ended on October 7th, 2016, were targeted against individuals that participated in activities against U.S. and humanitarian interest. There were no blanket sanctions preventing businesses from doing business in Myanmar. EA made a statement that they were forced to disable our access because of the sanctions. This is untrue. The sanctions were targeted towards a tremendously small minority of individuals and organizations, those of whom are identified primarily in the publicly available Specialty Designated Nationals and Blocked Persons list, or SDN. My best guess is that EA did not want to risk running afoul of the law and instead pulled the plug on an entire country. If true, this is far, far different than being forced to do so by U.S. laws, and was a calculated move by EA to decrease legal liability. Netflix, Steam, Battle.net, Spotify, and every other streaming subscription service that I have used work fine here. Heck, I can even receive packages from UPS. As far as we know, there was no order by the U.S. government to pull the plug on the entire country of Myanmar, nor would one be implied. EA likely decided to avoid potential liability and accidentally engaging in trade with someone on the SDN list by pulling the plug, but caught up many of its paying customers in the crossfire. EA's statement that they were forced to do so by US law is simply untrue. Instead of taking steps to comply with the SDN list, EA likely terminated access to their previous customers and wrote it off as a cost of doing business that wouldn't cost EA anything. Only the gamers that purchase licenses to use these products would have to pay the price. Although thanks to our gaming, the price has induced a heavy PR toll. This entire episode, and before I continue to read, I need to, and I'll mark where I was. EA was on the right track. For a long while, people have been like, Origin runs really well, though. Their customer service is really good. Say what you want, but the Battlefield games are good, right? I mean, I myself have been sticking up for them a little bit more often than I used to. And I think most of that is due to the fact that they, in a lot of ways, were showing that they started to care. And I'm going to continue here. This entire episode has smacked me over the head with a huge dose of reality and should give pause to every gamer out there that uses DRM-crippled services. It's all of them, buddy. A content distribution company made a calculated business move to flip a switch and disable access to already paid content to an entire country. Make no mistake, if they can do this to you too. What happens if a country in the EU institutes a privacy policy that EA or other DRM juggernaut won't comply with? Will it make better business sense for them to simply disable access to that country and blame it on that country's laws, as they did with this situation? For years, people have theorized that content providers offering DRM-crippled services could revoke access to the content that you have paid for. I have to admit, I was one of the apologists that never thought that this activity would do so, and dismissed those who said that as tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists. Now you have proof that they can and will when it suits them for business purposes. As far as we know, there is no court order forcing EA to go well beyond the terms of sanctions and block an entire country. Your content, whether it is from Steam, Origin, or any other DRM-reliant company, does not belong to you. When you give them your money, you are relying on the goodwill of the company not to revoke your access to their product. Don't be fooled. If they consider the public backlash of making a move like this, and it still makes good business sense to them to revoke that access, as EA determined it did in this situation, they will do it. Hopefully they will weigh that negative PR more heavily now, as you have shown EA and other DRM providers that we really care about, and will stand in solidarity against arbitrary termination of access for the mere reduction of liability. Once again, thank you to everyone who Reddit for messages of support. Reddit Gold and offered their help to get us back online. We hopefully did it, Reddit. TLDR, yeah, okay. So that was the fellow in Myanmar. And yeah, this is something that's been on my mind lately too. I've been wondering about this. Do we have to worry about having all of our access to our Steam libraries just completely taken from us? And if that's the case, do they offer us some sort of reimbursement for our games based on our gaming time? I don't know. Lots of gray areas, but I just want everyone to get their games back. Everyone deserves their games, But it's really all I have to say on this situation. I found it terribly interesting. So, yeah, my name is Evertread. I do this sort of thing every other day or so. And, yeah, I'll see you guys later.